Left 8 dead, 6 of them Asian women in Atlanta.
There is no doubt in my mind, and I think like many other people, that this was racially targeted towards Asian Americans.
I knew something like this was going to happen eventually.
I just remember crying myself to sleep that night, just trying to take the news in, basically. I literally pulled up Google Maps and saw that there were shootings just 5 minutes away from where I lived, and at spas that I was familiar with. I passed by a lot, going around in the area. It's no secret to anyone that during COVID, service workers and the women who had to work in the spa were already putting themselves on the line during a worldwide pandemic. And I think the cruelty of it all, and realizing and just thinking, why did they have to die for already putting themselves so much at risk to just make a livelihood, was just incredibly heartbreaking.
The hypersexualization of Asian American women is not a new thing, and the fact that like the first place this person thought to go to was like these massage parlors is like so clearly stereotypical of like these common narratives of how people will exotify and sexualize Asian American women. And I can't even say shocked at this point, because like of how extensively like violence against Asian people has been escalating. When COVID hit, especially, there was a lot of rhetoric around, oh, the virus is from China, Asian Americans all carry this virus.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
I think in my mind, there's no doubt that there is a racial motivation to it, because, unfortunately, I think with these incidents, a lot of the times when it is maybe a white male shooter, they're so quick to find a justification outside of race.
The suspect did take responsibility for the shootings. He claims that these, and as the chief said, this is still early, but he does claim that it was not racially motivated. He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate.
I think there's a lot of overlap in the way Asian women in the media and society in general have been sexualized as these easy targets, I think, and as objectified as just in a way that it turns them into more just like sexual objects in a way. There's too much overlap between the two for race to not be a factor.
The issue of there's no accountability for white male shooters that go out and commit these acts of violence. A lot of like rhetoric that the police put out was, oh, he was just having a bad day and did this.
He was pretty much fed up and kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
And like, I just cannot fathom like who in having like the worst day of their lives, like going out and shooting people and committing these violence. I really just like can't wrap my mind around it.
Being just a young woman in general, I think there's that general fear that you are an easy target for someone, and then compounded with the fact that I'm also Asian American, and we are living in a very scary time where people are looking to scapegoat people who look like me and people from my community for things that are beyond our control.
Prior to the pandemic, I would say I didn't feel as at risk. I think I felt really at risk mainly as a woman, and expecting
like a fear that a lot of women just have being in public is like the fact that we can't actually be free and exist in our lives because we're constantly thinking about, you know, what could happen to us, like an empty parking lot, or if we're staying out too late at night, or even if we're just like wearing clothes we want to wear, you know, there's always the threat of violence. I would say like doesn't really faze me anymore because like this is the stuff that I'm like constantly afraid of.
Just walking around is something I really enjoy, just to see what's going on. But I remember, you know, on Tuesday and yesterday, not even wanting to leave my home, really feeling very depressed, but also just unsafe. And this feeling, I think, definitely got exacerbated by the shootings and just how close they were to the neighborhood.
I definitely say I've been trying to avoid going out more. I was honestly thinking like about like grocery shopping that I usually maybe do once a week, and I was thinking maybe I'll push that to next week.
I don't want to stop taking a walk because I think that's exactly what they want. I think they want community members and Asian American women like myself to be scared, and I'm trying to balance not having my joy be taken away and my livelihood of just existing be compromised, or the fear of fearing for my own.